Welcome to the other side. Things are a bit tricky now. It's the new year. Don't really know how to be here nicely anymore. But anyway, guys, welcome. This is my first official video of 2024. I guess there's a video that I posted. You can check the most recent video that I posted, which was basically an encouragement to just dream again. But this is another video. This is a part of the Before I Do series, and it's basically just an explanation or a definition or my understanding of what a wife is. And this is an understanding that I've come to after I've discovered that I wasn't really a good wife or even a wife. I didn't really even identify as a wife. I was just a married woman. That was me, and it showed up in the way that I behaved, particularly towards my husband and the household in general, the managing of the household in general. So, if you haven't watched any of my videos before, I'll just give you a bit of a background of I've always wanted to get married, and it was for me, the reasoning was I wanted to leave my family, and for me, the only way out was through marriage. And for me, marriage was an escape plan. It was also this dreamland where I would finally be happy and I would finally be just okay in life. So that was basically my intent towards getting married, and then I got married with that mindset, and I got into marriage and I realized a lot of things about myself. One of which was that my reasoning for getting married was very self-centered, very self-serving, very selfish, just very off, very immature, very childish, very trauma informed, right? And also another challenge was that because I was only just focused on getting married and being married, I never really put effort and thought and preparation into being a wife. And so, in the wake of 2023, I decided that I want to fix my relationship with God because I felt like Christianity was not working for me and something was missing. What was I missing? So, I decided that I'm just going to take a break from everything. I'm not going to go to church or anything like that. I'm just going to go to God one on one, meet up with this guy and find out why is this Christianity thing not working. And in that process, one of the things then that came out of that process and that starting that relationship and growing in that relationship, one of the things that I got to learn was that I was not a good wife, particularly because I got married just to be married, not to be someone's wife. And therefore, I was not behaving as a wife. And obviously, I was in denial of this for a while. I was like, no, not me. So the way that things were when I first got married, because I didn't care to be a wife, I wasn't cognizant of the things in the house. I didn't care about, do we have pots in the kitchen? Do we have utensils? Do we have enough dishcloths? Do we have cups? Do we have glasses? That was not a part of my thought process. Do we have enough sheets? Do we have enough pillowcases? Do we have enough bedspreads? Do we need to buy more pillows? That was not a part of my thought process in the house. I didn't care much for those things. Um, I didn't care about how the house looked, how the house felt, whether or not it was homely or it had my touch in it. I just let my husband do what he wanted to do because look, I'd achieved my goal. I'd gotten married. And so a lot of the first years of our marriage, my husband sort of like, especially kitchen duty, took over that because he likes his food, and food is a big part of things that he likes. So he was the one that was predominantly cooking and sometimes cleaning because because I kind of enjoy cleaning. I used to clean every here and there, But to be honest with you, in the very early stages of our marriage, I had the mindset that, look, I bagged the man, I got the man. And because my mentality towards men was I will never be under a man because of how I grew up, my mindset, and I made a vow, I guess, in my younger years that I will never be under the authority of a man. So when I got married, I wasn't prepared to clean the house. Um, or cook food or just be womanly in the house because it was like, oh goodness, I'm not succumbing under this man. So I didn't do much of anything in the house. I'll just wake up, go to work, come back. Or if there's food, or I'll eat. If there's no food, I'll probably cook or I won't cook. It was, I didn't care. I didn't care. And a lot of that came then with my husband having to sort of like take over the reins, of sort of taking care of the house. And it's embarrassing. I can imagine, like, and for me, it didn't feel bad at that time. I felt like, wow, I've I've hit the jackpot here. I've got a man that can do domestic stuff. I've won. I don't have a man that's like the man that I grew up around who was so oppressive and they did nothing and they couldn't do anything for themselves and I had to take care of them. I'm like, I've got a good man. Not knowing that I was actually not functioning in my role as a wife. And it put a strain in our marriage. And I think what alleviated the strain was that my husband told me that he decided to lead me by showing me. So that's when he would clean. If I didn't clean, he would cook. If I didn't cook, and he was like for a long time that's what he did. I think 2.5, 3 years. That's what he did, and I was just oblivious. I couldn't be bothered. Oh my God, this man has gone through a lot, but that was it. And so when I started my relationship with God anew and afresh in 2023, that's one of the things that God brought to my attention, that you have been a horrible, horrible, horrible wife. You haven't actually been a wife. You've just been a married woman and you've let this man function in your position and it's not good. You need to change and you need to deal with whatever issues you have that have prevented you from being a wife, and just be the wife. You're the wife, right? And so I took time to sort of like deal with why I wasn't functioning as a wife. I had to go back to my childhood. I had to go back to the things that I believed, to the vows that I internally made as a kid, as a young girl, growing up in a male-dominated family. There's things that I decided I didn't want to do when I grew up, and one of them was being someone's doormat. Even though I wanted to be married, I didn't want to be under a man. And those are the things that I had to deal with up to a point where God could be like, okay, you've shared a lot of those unhealthy beliefs and unhealthy vows and that mindset. Now you can start the journey. It's like starting from zero. I'm almost 7 years married, and it's like last year was basically a realization of, Sissy, you are not a wife, you're not functioning properly. So, lungisile indaba yakho. So it was basically that realization, coming to that realization and understanding that I've missed the mark, and understanding that I need to change, and accepting that I needed to change, and accepting that I was not doing things properly, and just letting God work through me, through the wounds that caused me to be that way, the everything that led to me thinking that way and actually being that way in marriage. We worked through it with God together. I spoke to my husband about it a lot. I let him in on the process. This is what God is talking to me about. I know that I'm behaving this way. This is why I've been behaving like this. All of those things I discussed with him, and was very understanding. He was very like, oh, I noticed that you are a different breed. And I prayed. I mean, all he could do was pray because I was stubborn as a stick. He told me, I prayed to God, to make things work. And I'm glad now that, things are coming together nicely in that way. And so I've just been sort of learning, what a wife is, and not just what a wife is, but what a biblical and godly wife is. And that is my aim now. That is the goal for me now. The goal is to be a good, godly, biblical wife, and to just fully flourish and function in that role and just kill it, right? And so I remember this other time I was having a conversation with my husband. I asked him a question, what is a wife? Because I wanted to write sort of like something, like a piece of what a wife is for my own benefit and for the benefit of some ladies that I talk to that are interested in getting themselves ready for marriage. And I was like, it's very important. I understood now that before you get married, it's very important for you to understand what a wife is and what role and function you will be walking into when you do get married. When you get married, you become a wife, right? So my husband was like, no, a wife is a helper. Basically, biblically, foundationally, that's this woman was created to be a help suitable for this man, and that's basically what a wife is. And I was like, okay, well and good. And now my aim in my life right now, currently, I've just been looking for ways that I can help my husband in the things that he's doing and the ideas that he has and the way that he's leading our family and the way that he's doing his business and his art and how we're parenting, how we're running the house. I've just been like, okay, I'm okay now with this just being the helper. I'll function there, I'll learn how. I will understand how. I will understand what it means and how to do it. I will allow the Holy Spirit to guide me in terms of how to be a helper that is suitable to my husband. And yeah, so that's what I've understood a wife to be, and that's what I've aimed to be. And what I also learned is that over and above that key identifying factor of what a wife is, there are things then that a wife does. Things like making sure that the house is clean, making sure that there's food in the house, making sure that there's enough utilities in the house, there's enough uh, household items generally, making sure that people have clothes, making sure that people are fed and they're clean, and basically just managing the household and making sure that, the husband is fed in all respects, making sure that you are submissive towards your hubby. He's supposed to be sleeping, he's sick. I don't know why I'm hearing him wake up. He's making noise, right? But anyway, my husband is sick, so I told him to take a nap. So, but anyway, that's me now. That's where I am. And one of the things that I wanted to highlight, which makes me very, one of the things that I wanted to highlight is that what I noticed with my husband is that because for a while he was pushed into functioning as the homekeeper and the homemaker, it is now a difficult thing for him to let go, to allow me to make sure there's groceries and to make sure things are okay in the house. It's kind of hard for him to let go of that part. And I understand, because it's like, oh, what if I become that weird person again, and now it's like he's trusted me and then now I've let him down, I've disappointed him. I understand the difficulty. So we've sort of been having that tug of war where I'm like, it's okay, I can do it. And it's like, can you? And yeah, we're trying to figure out how now we can be like, it's okay. Zianda is up for the role now. Hand over the reins. And it's like a consequence. It's like now he has to learn to just be the husband and not just be the husband that manages the house and sort of like is functioning in the role of a wife because the wife is not doing what she's supposed to do. And it's kind of been of a weird, like I say, a weird tug of war. It's like is struggling. He's struggling to let go. And I understand, and God told me to give him grace to allow him to adjust to the new me, to the refined me, to the wife me. But yeah, so basically, yeah, that's what a wife is. And listen, if you want to get married, as a woman, as a man, be sure that you understand that you are walking into this role, and this is what this role requires, and this is what this role entails, and this is what you will be doing as a wife, this is what you will be doing as a husband. And be sure to take those things, those definitions and those things from the Bible. Be biblically informed, be godly informed in terms of your understanding of what a wife is and what a husband is, and prepare yourself. If you know that there are things that you have, mindsets that you have that are in a position of what the Bible is telling you a wife is, deal with those things now. Talk to God about, investigate those things as to if the Bible says that you have, as a wife, you must submit to your husband. If that rubs you the wrong way, investigate that, lean in and find out why does that rub me the wrong way. Because if you go into marriage with that mindset, you won't be a submissive wife, and it will be a sour point of your marriage. So be prepared, get the information that you need to get, learn what you need to learn, and just be ready. And that's it from me for this first video of 2021. If you enjoyed this conversation, is this the kind of conversation that you're interested in and would like to hear more? Subscribe, like, leave a comment, share the video. Somebody somewhere needs to hear this. Somebody somewhere has had the same struggle. Somebody somewhere might be going into marriage with the mindset of not being a wife, and they don't even know. So yeah, thank you guys for being on the other side with me. I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.